What does a Roth IRA precisely mean? A Roth IRA is a form of individual retirement account that allows you to invest and save for retirement. Now, I don't want you to think about a Roth IRA as an actual investment like stocks, bonds, real estate, or exchange-traded funds or ETFs. All of these are various kinds of investments. The Roth IRA is simply an account that contains such investments. The most important thing to keep in mind is that a Roth IRA is essentially a conventional brokerage account. The only difference is that it comes with some significant benefits, which we will explore right now. In this video, we will be unfolding how to open the best Roth IRA with $1,000 step by step. So make sure to subscribe here on Usable Wisdom and hit the notification bell so you will be updated whenever we upload new videos. Without further ado, let's get back to the content, shall we? A Roth IRA has both advantages and disadvantages. Let's start with the first one. Roth IRAs are tax-free. The next advantage is that you can control your contributions in a Roth IRA at any time, even before you retire. To be clear, understanding the distinction between contributions and actual returns in your Roth IRA is crucial. Finally, there are no required minimum distributions or RMDs with Roth IRAs. So after you turn 72, most tax-deferred retirement funds require you to begin making minimum withdrawals from your account. So you can't just leave your money in your retirement account to increase and compound. The Roth IRA, on the other hand, does not have an RMD. Thus, this isn't an issue. So you may either wait till you desire or give yourself 2 extra decades of compounding and increasing your investments. The first disadvantage of IRAs is that their maximum contribution limitations are somewhat low. The Roth IRA has a contribution limit of only $6,000 each year, or $7,000 if you're 50, which is a very minimal amount. The next disadvantage is that Roth IRAs have income restrictions. If you make more than $129,000 per year, your contribution limits will begin to decline as your income rises. You will not be qualified for a Roth IRA if you earn more than $144,000 per year. These figures vary depending on whether or not you're married and how you file your taxes. The third and final disadvantage, if you can call it that, is that you must pay taxes upfront. This means that the money you put into a Roth IRA has already been taxed by the IRS. Almost any broker can open a Roth IRA for you. Fidelity, Vanguard, Charles Schwab, M1 Finance, and a slew of other brokers are some of the best examples. Which one you choose is entirely a matter of personal preference. But while I'll be using Fidelity in this video, keep in mind that the process for starting a Roth IRA may be done with any broker and the results will be virtually identical. To demonstrate, let us use Fidelity as an example. The first step is to open an account with whichever broker you have chosen. You can get here by going to fidelity.com on your computer, or by downloading the Fidelity app to your mobile device and doing it that way. Now, go ahead and click where it says Create an Account, and you should see this box appear. You'll see a Roth IRA option on the left-hand side of the window, and you just click the Open Now button. After that, you'll be taken to a page that asks if you're already a Fidelity customer. If you are, simply sign into your account to avoid having to fill out the information for another 15 minutes. If you're not a Fidelity member, select No, and we will create an account for you. This section will take a few minutes to complete. You'll be asked a few administrative questions about your income, work, and personal information. You'll have to sign certain agreements related to investment. It's all quite a conventional procedure, and every broker will follow it. After you've created your account, the next step is to fund your Roth IRA and make your first contribution. Keep in mind that you are not obligated to make a contribution right now. It's quite fine if you skip this section and make your first contribution a few months later. So once you set up your Roth IRA and deposit some funds into it, those are both significant steps. Now is the moment to actually decide what you want to invest in. There's a lot to choose from when it comes to investments. Stocks, bonds, ETFs, mutual funds, rates, real estate options, annuities, and so on are all available. Ignore them for now. To really get started developing your wealth and investing in your Roth IRA, I recommend focusing on one of these investments, which is index funds. If you're unfamiliar with index funds, think of them as a basket of stocks. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of different equities in that basket. What's great about index funds, though, is that if you pick the correct one, you can have a broad, diversified, high-growth portfolio without doing any effort or study. It makes no difference if you have no prior knowledge of the stock market or how investing works. All you have to do is select the appropriate index fund. This leads me to my next point. The best index funds to invest in are those that provide broad exposure to the US stock market. FSKAX, or the Fidelity Total Market Index Fund, is a great illustration of this. This index fund owns around 3,875 stocks. So by purchasing shares of this index fund, you're effectively providing your portfolio exposure to all of those stocks, including Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Tesla, and so on. It's worth remembering that FSKAX is a Fidelity index fund. You won't be able to invest in FSKAX, particularly if you opened a Roth IRA with Vanguard or M1 Finance, for example. However, each broker will have its own exact version of another index fund. VTSAX, for example, is Vanguard's version of FSKAX, a total market index fund that gives you exposure to a wide range of different US stocks. When you open a Roth IRA with a broker like M1 Finance that doesn't have any index funds, that's no problem since you can just invest in an ETF or exchange-traded fund, which is essentially the same thing as an index fund. A great ETF to invest in is VTI, or the Vanguard Total Stock Market ETF. This ETF will provide you with comprehensive stock market exposure if you invest in it. The next step will be to purchase an investment. Simply click in the upper left-hand corner where it says Trade. When you click it, you'll be presented with a number of options. If you wish to invest in an index fund, FSKA is the index fund I would recommend for 100% market exposure. So you'll select mutual funds by clicking on this drop-down menu that reads Equities/ETFs. After you click that, you'll be able to choose your amount, which will be your new Roth IRA. It will display how much money you have available to trade. Whatever you contributed should be considered. So right here, where it says symbol, you'll type in FSKAX. Once you type that in, the Fidelity Total Market Index Fund appears on the screen. So you're going to click on that. It will show you the current price of the index fund, followed by a drop-down menu that states Action with 3 options: Buy, Sell, and Exchange. We'll purchase the index fund and then it'll ask for the exact dollar amount. It will present you with a window that gives you a quick overview of what you're about to perform. After you've gone through everything and decided that's what you want to do, click Confirm. Orders are only performed and reflected on your account once per day at 4 p.m. once that order has gone through. That's pretty much it. Once the transaction is executed and you hold the ETF, it will appear in your account under your portfolio, and you will be able to see exactly what you own and how it is progressing. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something meaningful from this video. And for more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification button. Until next time, see ya!